Millions of users navigate digital environments engineered to manipulate their behavior. Yesterday, the Central Consumer Protection Authority of India took formal action against this practice. The regulatory body issued an order targeting two major players in the Indian digital ecosystem, edtech platform Walla and cybersecurity firm McAfee. The CCPCAI cited the use of dark patterns within their digital interfaces as the specific violation. Walla received a fine of 5 lakh rupees. McAfee received a fine of 1 lakh rupees. The order includes an injunctive mandate requiring both companies to immediately remove these specific user experience mechanics from their platforms. The CCPCAI's stated goal is to ensure consumers can make informed choices free from platform-induced pressure. These platforms are now prohibited from relying on user interface manipulation to bypass authentic user consent. Industry reaction immediately focused on the monetary figures. Compared to the multi-million-dollar revenues generated by these digital platforms, a combined penalty of 6 lakh rupees is a microscopic expense. Treating these fines as a minor, acceptable cost of doing business miscalculates the regulator's intent. Product managers and compliance officers often view low civil fines as a green light for aggressive, conversion-focused design choices. These penalties represent a calculated warning shot rather than the ceiling of the CCPAI's punitive power. To calculate the actual risk exposure for platforms operating in India, we must deconstruct the dormant statutes hiding behind this ruling. A single deceptive checkout button can trigger a cascading legal failure across multiple regulatory frameworks. The first pillar of the CCPAI's authority is the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. The CPA defines baseline consumer rights in digital interactions, establishing the primary legal foundation for enforcement. The second pillar consists of the Consumer Protection E-commerce Rules of 2020. These rules target the mechanics of digital storefronts, narrowing the focus from broad rights to specific transactional behavior. The final regulatory instrument invoked is the Guidelines for Prevention and Regulation of Dark Patterns from 2023. These 2023 guidelines specifically codified manipulative design choices into actionable legal offenses. The CCPA synthesized all three frameworks to build their case against Walla and McAfee. Layering these rules creates a legally specific definition of manipulation that platforms cannot easily contest. This framework effectively outlaws the use of artificial user friction deployed for platform gain. Establishing a violation across these three pillars was the required step for levying the initial civil fines. This legal baseline provides the necessary foundation for the CCPA to apply significantly darker punitive measures in the future. The true danger lies in the statutory authority the regulator purposefully held back in this specific order. Section 89 of the Consumer Protection Act dictates the maximum enforcement available to the CCPAI. This section categorizes digital UI manipulation as a false or misleading advertisement. Any action deemed prejudicial to the interest of consumers triggers the penalties listed in the statute. The uninvoked civil penalty under this section extends to 10 lakh rupees. That figure is double the fine paid by Walla and 10 times the fine paid by McAfee. Section 89 also authorizes imprisonment for up to 2 years. This introduces the possibility of criminal prosecution for the executives overseeing product design. The statute further empowers the authority to ban the service entirely. A service blackout of up to 2 years would financially dismantle a SaaS or edtech platform. Under Section 89, maximum enforcement combines a 10 lakh rupee fine, a 2-year prison sentence, and complete business suspension. The statutory infrastructure to jail product managers and shut down platforms for hostile user interfaces is fully codified. If the CCPAI holds the power to destroy offending platforms, we have to ask why they stopped at minor fines. Regulators typically establish the rule through minor civil precedent first, storing up their power before exercising their full, devastating criminal authority. These rulings serve as formal notice to the entire Indian tech ecosystem. Now that the precedent is set, repeat offenses will be met with the full force of the law. Executives operating under the assumption that user interface design is immune to criminal liability are using borrowed time. The liability vector extends beyond consumer rights into the domain of data privacy. In 2023, India enacted the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, or DPDPA. The legal definition of dark patterns bridges these two bodies of law. The DPDPA introduces prevention of harm to data principles. Interfaces forcing users to surrender personal data fall squarely under this definition. Therefore, aggressive email capture pop-ups now constitute measurable compliance risks. The DPDPA includes separate, highly punitive financial structures for enforcement. Compliance teams must now integrate user experience audits with data privacy audits. Regulators can stack DPDPA violations on top of Consumer Protection Act violations for a single interface feature. Companies face a two-front legal challenge from consumer protection authorities and privacy watchdogs. The CCPAI order against Physics Walla and Naavi validates this cross-regulatory risk. Interface design choices are now audited as critical data privacy vulnerabilities. Platform operators require a unified compliance strategy encompassing legal, product, and user experience teams. Compartmentalizing regulatory risk leads directly to Section 89 exposure. These initial fines signal the end of leniency before the statutory traps of the CPA and DPDPA snap shut.